Yeah, 4250. Not bad for these generating this last night. All right, come on, who's got questions? Oh, there we go. Here, blue palette, pass back forwards. 5 rows. Please.
How do you deal with teams that aren't geographically co-located?
How do I deal with teams that aren't geographically, what was the last word?
Co-located.
They are not geographically co-located.
So you were talking about having all the people physically in the same location.
Yes.
But that's not always possible.
I would say it's most of the time not possible, yeah. So, how do we deal with teams that they can't be physically located together? Option 1, invest in technology. You have to, right? You're going to have a CI server on the back end. You're going to have a software project management tracking tool like TFS or Jira, or pick whatever you want, virtual whiteboard, version 1 rally, okay? Pick your flavor. The biggest problem that I see is that the people don't think that the face-to-face time is important. So they all just sit around and they do their work. So I'm over there, they're over there, right? We're dispersed, we're distributed. Just get a webcam and have a Skype session or whatever VR conferencing software you want to use or conferencing software you want to use, and just have a screen that's on there all the time. So if I want to look up, I can, oh, hey, Mark's not here. Where's Mark? Hey, Mark, where are you? I'm stuck. I have a question. And then that drives these impromptu work sessions. You're able to prepare quickly. It creates a virtual environment. And it's probably the best thing that you're going to get aside from being in the room. The minute you start separating the face-to-face is when I see the problems start. Right? Because if there's no camera, hell, I'm going to wear my pajamas and I'm going to surf eBay. It's like the HR videos that we're all required to watch at work. Anybody have HR videos that you're required to watch once a year? Yeah, what do you really do? You're not watching the video, what are you doing? Yeah, you're playing games, right? Woo-hoo! I just leveled up, I just killed an orc. I'm awesome. Okay? So but that's the thing. Run. Oh, it stopped. Oh, answer is B. Oh, wrong? Oh, C. Hey, I got it right. And then you go back to killing orcs. Okay, that's what the camera does, number 1. Number 2, don't do it for 8 hours a day because you want to get people lean into it. So do say 4 hours a day. So we're going to do a 2-hour block in the morning and a 2-hour block in the afternoon where we as a virtual team are all online together. No excuses, no meetings, no nothing. We're just on. Test it for a month. And I say a month because it's really the minimum amount that you can do it. Test it for a month. Determine, hey, do we like it? Do we want to do it more? Do we hate it? Do we want to do it less? With the most important thing being understanding why for either case. And then have the discussion around, well, if we want to do it less, what do we sacrifice? If we do it more, what do we gain? Conversely, if we do it more, what do we sacrifice? Right? So, create that face-to-face. Thank you for your question. All the way in the back. All right, yeah.
We're about 10 developers working on 2 to 3 projects each. And we're doing Agile because we have a stand-up meeting every day.
Okay.
How do you go from having that workload to having to move over to Agile without dropping the ball with the existing projects?
So you're 10 people.
Yeah.
You're working on 3 projects as a team.
No, we're a team of 10 developers. Each person is working on his own project.
Well, then you're not a team of 10 developers. Number 1. Yeah, but you're not a team. Right? So that's problem number 1. You're a group of developers that sit in the same area, so let's be clear. And of those 10 people, they're all working on different things. Why even have a stand-up at all? No, I'm serious. I'm not being facetious here. It's like, hey, yeah, yesterday I fixed this widget that has absolutely no meaning or no relevance to you or anybody else whatsoever, but it's what I did.
It gives our technical director the opportunity to see where each person is in the process.
Oh, so we're doing a management reporting technique. Is this said person in the room right now?
No.
fun with that one. So what you're doing is you are having a, how many minute meeting?
It's about 20 minutes.
You're having a 20-minute meeting to get to screw this guy's head on every day. So that's fine, right? But don't be fooled. You're not doing a daily stand-up. You're doing a verbal status reporting session every day. Other people know what's going on. Your technical director knows what's going on, but you're not. But number one, you're not a team. So I believe the question was, how do we get to be a team?
How do we implement Agile?
How do you implement Agile? Number one, send your manager to some training, and not Agile training, leadership training. Okay, or have him read a book, provided he can. After all, the more we become managers, the less skills we have. And I've fallen into that trap. But it's really about leadership, because if you get back to the root, what does he want to know? He wants to know ultimately the risk of success, the risk of failure on any given project, which leads us to problem number one. And I'm probably going to consume all the time. Is that correct? Okay, we're fine. Okay, cool. Problem number one. I would bet, I will gamble, gambling man, small wagers, dollars at a time, that your organization values all three of the projects that the 10 guys are working on equally. Okay? So if they're all equal, that means that there's no priority. Okay? Problem number one, as a leadership team, figure out what the priority of the business is and the goals that you're trying to achieve, figure out which project achieves those goals, and then focus the people, not the resources, but the people on those projects. Number two, that then sets the mindset that allows you to actually do this crazy Agile stuff, because then what will happen is you'll come back and say, well, the reason we are doing what we're doing is because of X, Y, and Z, principles and values. Then the manager will say, okay, well, I have to know these things on a daily basis, at which point your question should be, tell me the problem you're trying to solve with this information. That I would still use today. So when you go back to the office on Wednesday, and he sits in there and he wants his report, ask him, what's the problem you're trying to solve by having us do this? Because for us as the team, there's no value. Maybe there's a little value. For him, there's a ton of value. He should get that value in the review meeting that you have at the end of the sprint or an iteration. So maybe you just meet with him once a week and show him what's going on, but you've got to understand the root of his concern. And I guarantee you there's probably some mistrust there. Not mistrust like he thinks that you're going to fail. He's just trying to protect himself and hopefully you and mitigate customer concerns around failure. Right? Once you solve those two issues, I think you're going to have an easier time actually starting to transition to the crazy Agile stuff. But yeah, books are in the future. And I'll be honest, probably not mine. Does that help?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Help is what I'm looking for. If you want me to solve your problems, you're going to have to buy me a copy. Next question. Once? Oh, thank you.
Hello?
Hello?
Right, I just want to find out how important is it for the product owner to be part of your Agile process on a daily basis?
How important is it for the product owner to be part of your Agile process on a daily basis? Part of the process as in working with the team hand in hand? Or giving them information? Or what sort of involvement are you looking for?
I mean, on a daily basis, hand in hand for...
Daily basis, hand in hand. Critical to essential to required. For example, I was working on as a product owner on one project. I was in with the team whenever I wasn't with my customers or stakeholders. Does that give you perspective? So if I go off and I have a customer meeting, I come back and I'm in the same room as the team and I'm doing whatever I'm doing, right? Whatever product owners do. I'm product owning things. Okay? And then the team says, hey Mitch, I have a question. I go, hold on. Say yes. And they go, we don't understand this. how should this API work? Are we showing data set A or data set B? Like, oh, well, that's easy, data set B. It's in the story. Well, it's not. Well, okay, cool, I screwed up, I'm sorry, here. It's data set B, flip it over, write it down, let me go create a test for you, so that way we can validate it. And then somebody on the team says, oh, I'll work with you to write the test. Hey, fantastic. We bang out the test in 30 minutes, done. Now imagine that scenario if I'm not there, if I'm working in an office on my own somewhere. How delayed will that answer be? Minutes, hours, or days? Most likely.
Days.
Hours to days, yeah, days. Right. So it goes from minutes to seconds to hours to days. So absolutely, you want to have that product owner in there. You want to have them, again, they're part of the planning meetings. They can be part of the daily stand-up or the daily scrum, provided they know their place. Okay? They should be in the retrospective. They should be in the review. Think of that scrum team as a single cohesive unit. Everybody has their roles, and they all work together to achieve that goal. Does that answer your question? Okay? Yes?
You said that the product owner should be writing acceptance level tests?
I do. I did say that, and yes, I do, and I'm a firm believer of that. For example, what I recommend, I don't require really anybody, but my best practice is that if I'm working as a product owner, and we go into planning for the next iteration or the next sprint, I say to the team, these are the stories I want to see accomplished, these are the tests needed to make them pass. Meaning,
Or these are the tests that I will accept?
yeah, you make the tests pass, I accept the stories. Done. But that means that I have to have my act together. That I'm not walking into that meeting going, oh, I think I want this, and I think I want that, and then the team asks me a question, I'm like, oh man, I don't know, can we delay the meeting for a day so I can go get that answer? Yeah, it doesn't fly. So yes, I am a firm believer of, as a product owner, I come prepared. Our prepared to me means I've got those tests needed, the acceptance criteria and tests written. So that way the team says, yes, we can do this work. There's a clear understanding. What I'm trying to do is remove ambiguity and vagueness and increase clarity and focus. Does that make sense? It's hard to do though, by the way, especially as a team gets really good. Because as a product owner, you're going to have to go from working 4 hours a day to 8. Well, I mean, who's a product owner in the room? Come on. How many of you take your customers out for drinks or golfing or fun activities, right? I mean, yeah, that's hard work. I shot an 80 last week. It was pretty embarrassing. I got to take my customers. I got to be a better product owner. More like a white. Next question. Looks like we have time for one more. One more, it says. He was first. But if it's short, then...
Okay. So I just want to know about transitioning traditional roles. So you talked about project managers becoming Scrum Masters.
Yep.
What about the traditional stuff like product managers?
Sure, yeah, easy.
Let me these managers.
Let me see if I can bang this one out so I can get his question. Here's a little exercise that I always do with companies, okay? I'm going to say this really fast. I grew up in California, so if you want me to slow down, just say, whoa, easy boy. Okay, go up to whiteboard. Pick the role. So project manager is the easiest one. Write down everything that the project manager is responsible for, right? Okay, so give me something a project manager is responsible for. The plan, the budget, the scope, the schedule, communication plan, risk management, resource management. Yeah, it's like, I'm going to shift this computer here. Okay, I'm going to move the phone right here, just managing this resource. Okay, so then, what you do is you create 3 columns, okay? Scrum Master, Product Owner, Team. Start making check boxes. Who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for this? Who's responsible for this? And just go right down that list. Now that traditional role, responsibilities, have been distributed and everybody knows what they mean across each one of the Scrum roles. You want to do that for Product Owner? Same thing. You want to do that for Marketing Manager? Same thing. You want to do that for Technical Lead, whatever that is? Same thing. You want to do it for Architect? Same thing. It's like there's just no checkbox. Gotta get my architect joke in somehow. It's okay, because I have a project manager or program manager joke too. Who are the PMs in the room? Okay, who are the architects in the room? Okay, we got a few perfect. So if we get the project managers and the architects together, man, we can design the shit out of anything. We're going to have UML diagrams, we're going to have a killer PowerPoint, and it's not going to do anything, but it's going to look awesome. And then the development team, they're just going to go off and like, yeah, whatever, hit these and do their thing. One more question.
Customers often want or they require fixed costing projects. However, they want the project to live on an agile basis with very high level requirements.
Yes.
How do you reconcile the two?
How do you reconcile that? So that is an extremely long answer. I thought I saw it. I misread from last week. Remember earlier how I said I tell people good for you? Did you say that? You know, I want this, I want that. I mean, I want a steak right now. Good for you, or GFY for short. Now, I heard that it might have another meaning, but I don't know. The real answer, you can have that one for free. The real answer, this is just purely on education. I had this discussion with my mother in the car just 2 weeks ago. She wants her website done or redone or whatever, but she wants to know exactly what it's going to cost up front. She wants to know, she wants to know everything. How am I supposed to plan if I don't know exactly what the budget is? And I said, well, Mom, do you know what you want? Well, no, that's what somebody has to tell me. Now, this is the biggest issue, the biggest danger, is that customers don't know what they want, they just know what they need. Right? So when I say I want a steak, I don't really want a steak. What I mean is that I'm hungry. And a steak sounds kind of good, but the core issue is that I'm hungry. So your job then becomes helping your customers understand what they need. I'm going to show you a picture. And we'll give you a comment on the picture. Some of you have seen this picture. Come on. Oh no. Where's my picture? There's the part. I'm going to show you this. That's not what I'm looking for. This. That looks like crap. Again. There you go. What is that a picture of? A couple of boats, right? A couple of boats there. Now, can we zoom in a little? I love customers that want traditional everything. You know why? Because I got a big ass boat. It's big ass, right? Oh, you want me to plan everything? Sure, it's going to cost you $2 million extra, whatever $2 million is. But it's going to cost you extra because I'm taking on all the risk. Right? When you change your mind, I'm going to charge you for it. Bigger boat. When you sneeze, I'm going to charge you for it. You want it, out of scope, whatever. All that does is lead them down the path of know what I said, but not what I meant. Now, I'm a firm believer that my customers are the best salespeople in the world. I don't need salespeople if I have good customers. And in order to get good customers, I have to build what they need. The first step in that is when they ask for everything, because I have to educate them that I can't tell them. I can't tell them. I can't tell them who will be the President of the United States. I can't tell them the future of this country. I can't tell them these things. There are indicators that I can use, and I can give them confidence intervals around price ranges and scope ranges with an Agile team. But fixed everything, man, I walk away every time. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear. But you have to stop and make that assessment. Is this a customer I want? Because whatever I build will be wrong. And if it's wrong, then they're going to tell everybody else that I suck or we suck as a company. Which means that I'm going to lose more customers in the future. Well, would I rather lose one now or 10 in a year? You can do some reading on that. There's a lot of answers to that. So, on that note,